Well, welcome back to another edition of Boundaries and Brotherhood, and I'm your host, Gordon Wat. And I just wanted to say today's going to be a really big doozy because we got some things going on that might help you in the future. And we're going to get this set up. Doc, Doc, how you been, Doc?
I've been good. I've been good. I'm almost done with my book, my relationship book. I have one more chapter in the addendum to do, and
Okay.
then I'll be finished with it. I can start putting into editing, I'm building it out and cleaning it all up. I want to say, look for it. If anyone's watching, I look for it at least, I want to say January 2026. That's what I'm thinking
Oh,
about.
nice.
Putting a
Perfect.
lot of time into it.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So that's about a big thing. And praise God, business has been picking up,
That's good for you.
Definitely thankful for that. So,
All right. So, guys, as you can see, I did some behind the scenes thing with Doc. Doc is kind of surprised. We're going to use it right now. Oh, let's get into it because today we're going to talk about something really detrimental to men, people, relationships, anybody in business. Are you trapped right now emotionally? And we're going to give you 5 sneaky signs that you're suppressing your emotions. Do you pride yourself in just being fine or just saying everything's fine? But is your body telling you a different story? And give us the 5 ambos while I get us set up technically. And you give us the intro to what would be doing, what would be going doing. And then let's get this thing all set up and rocking and rolling, my brother.
well, I'll tell you this, guys, thanks for being here. But the other part is, guys, yeah, there are these signs and these symptoms that, you know, we're not emotionally fine, yet we don't do anything about it because we've been conditioned not to, or we make up excuses, or, we hide behind these 5 things, right? And they're devastating to our life. They're devastating to our relationships. They're hindrance to us ever becoming the 11th man. And the life that we want is on the other side of all of these things, right? They hurt us. They're detrimental to us. And honestly, they can push us to the furthest extremes to, I don't know if we're allowed to say it on YouTube or whatnot, but they push us to the furthest extremes. And a lot of times we're sitting there wondering, well, what happened? What happened in my life? How did I get to this point?
Ooh,
And so we're going to be talking about those 5 things today because it's a strong possibility you're doing it and you're doing it under false pretenses of, oh, this is what makes me a man, right? This is what it means to be a man. This is how I put myself on the back burner and all those things. That mindset is actually destroying us. In the Bible, this is used a lot of times, and hopefully I'm not misquoting it, but it says that my people are destroyed for a lack of, is it either a lack of knowledge or a lack of vision? I think it's a lack of knowledge. But in either case, if you don't know what you don't know, then you're not going to be able to make any changes. You're going to be stuck in the same position over and over again. So today we're going to talk about it and inform you so that you do know, so you can actually start making changes in your life right now.
nice. So some of the dream outcomes that after you understand these 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 sneaky signs that you're suppressing your emotions, because a lot of people do it. And I understand, after this, the dream outcome is going to be you're going to accurately identify personal patterns of emotional repression, basically bottling up. You're going to understand the root cause of your emotional numbness or sometimes overreactions. And 3, you're going to gain some clarity in how suppressed emotions impact daily lives and your relationships, what we've been doing for the past year, right? Doc, give us the 5. Give us the 5. Let me put you, we're going to put you on the focus. We're going to put you on the pedestal right here, right?
Oh, boy.
Give us the 5 and see from a professional point of view how it's doing that and affecting your relationships in men. Take it away, my brother.
Let's go through them one by one, right? And so one of the biggest ones that we do is I'm fine, right? The I'm fine side, right? We could be going through hell in our mind. We can be going through hell in our relationships. We could be having the worst time ever. And we'll say, I'm fine. I'm good. Yeah, everything's all right. And we do that as men often. And the crazy part is, you're not fine, and you so desperately want someone to dig deeper. You want to have someone you can share stuff with, but we've been socialized to believe that, nope, you're not supposed to have any problems. You're not supposed to have any issues. You're supposed to be a man up. And so then we just learn to, and especially because if we've been shut down and validated, which a lot of us have been, we just say, I'm fine. And we
Right.
leave that and we store up all of that hurt and that pain, and then we explode. We go into these arguments or we shut down. And some of us, unfortunately take our own lives.
Yeah.
And then people are looking, wondering like, oh, wow, how did this happen? Oh, he was such a great guy and all this and that. And nobody took the time to ask the deeper questions. And yet we also believe the lie. And then that is what took us to our grave. And so it's just destroying us right now, the whole I'm fine facade, right? Because if you're not fine, you're not fine. And that's okay. It's okay not to be fine.
Absolutely.
It is 110% okay to not be fine. And we need to, as men, stop living under that lie that if we're not fine, we need to make sure we're going to someone who cares, who's going to help us, who's going to be there for us, for nothing else. Just listen and let them know that, hey, I walked this out with you. Even that is enough. But we can't keep living under this lie of I'm fine if we're not fine. And it's destroying all of our relationships. And it's keeping us from the life that we want.
True, true. I mean, even for me, when it's like telling your kids, when you ask your kids, how was your school day today? It went fine. It's like you want to know more things about what happened during the day. That's the same thing you have to do with your friends, your men, the people that you know that you might be going through it, but they don't want to tell you. What is how do you approach people like that? Men, your friends, what is that act of service, or how do you go about doing that instead of just telling the people? What would be some aspect?
Emotions are like water in a cardboard box. They're going to leak out.
That's deep.
We as men, a lot of times we put on the front, but to tell you the honest truth, the emotions leak out. So someone might say they're fine, but you can see something different in their eyes. You can see there's not really a smile, or you can see that maybe there's an exasperation in them or a tiredness in them, and being able to point that out, like you say, yeah, I'm fine. And you'd be like, well, you don't really sound fine. Sometimes that's enough. It's almost like a spark of hope. Or, hey, you don't look fine. You look like you've been going through it, man. Hey, what's going on?
Right.
And sometimes for us as men, as much as we've been lied to and people put these lies out there, when you start digging a little bit deeper, you start showing that interest, like, bro, you matter to me. Like, I care about you. We start opening up.
Right.
We start opening up. Once we know there's that safe space, there's that relationship, like, nah, I just care about you, man. I want to make sure you're good. And by being able to have that, oh, man.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah. Then you open up and you realize, like, yeah, nah, man, like, we're about to lose the house. Oh, man, my grandmother is in the hospital, or my mom or my parents, it's not going so well, or the wife just got into it, or, man, my kid's having all these troubles and whatever. They start opening up. So for someone on the outside, we have to be able to look for that, right? If you're friends with this person, right, look and see what they look like, right? How do they sound? How does the answer come out? What's in their eyes? What are their actions? Do you see a change in them? Like, we should be able to see that, see these different patterns or whatnot, right? Again, emotions are like water in a cardboard box. It's going to leak out. But if you're not willing to be mindful enough to recognize that, then people are going to go on. And you know what? Sometimes it leaks out, and then us as men, we know it leaks out, and we want someone to ask a question, and they don't. And it's more painful than if they never asked at all.
That's true. I mean, is it because do we lie to ourselves, or basically are we just building our own emotional prison?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's lying to ourselves. I don't think it's intentionally building the prison, but we are building our emotional prison because we're trapped inside, whether it's with societal norms or things like that. Sometimes when we try to say to ourselves, like, I'm fine, it's good, I can handle it, it's good. We'll try to say that, but if you're trying to convince yourself of that and it's not, then it's just us trying to cope, right?
Oh,
So that's what it boils down to.
but that also leads us to one of our other signs. The other sign of, what is that?
Believing in the myths.
Does that kind of correlate, or?
It does correlate. It does correlate because we've been taught lies of what it means to be men. And now we are trying to allow for the pain and the hurt to exist within the framework of those lies. So like, for instance, like, no love, men don't get love. Only women, children, and dogs get love, and men don't get love. Or it's weak for men to open up and share their emotions. Or men aren't supposed to feel anything except maybe be happy, but anger. But more often than not, you're only still lacking
anger. Yeah.
It's weak to show emotions. It's weak to express what you're thinking and what you're feeling, right? You shouldn't have wants. And so because of these lies and societal norm lies, when our thoughts and feelings are going against that, we then have to try to reconcile, like, okay, well, maybe I'm not man enough. You're right. Because if I was man enough, I wouldn't be having these issues. But the fact of the matter is, these are myths. These are lies. Like men are logical, women are emotional. That's a lie. Like all these lies have been perpetuated for so long that we as men, we take it as this is the way it's supposed to be. And when it's not lining up, then we have that dissonance within us. And then to the point where it's like we're driving ourselves crazy. I'm not supposed to feel down. I'm not supposed to be depressed. I'm not supposed to be scared or anxious. I'm not supposed to be, distressed. I'm not supposed to feel these things. So a real man doesn't feel it. So maybe I'm not a real man. And so maybe if I just keep muscling ahead and forging ahead and just keep saying I'm fine, maybe I'll finally get there. And then unfortunately, we try to find
It doesn't.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
may
it
never
doesn't.
get there. And we
In
try to
fact,
find other men and get in these echo chambers.
then with the echo chamber,
And then unfortunately, they're saying, yeah, you got to be a real man. You got to do this, and all that stuff. And now we're in a room full of liars. No one's being honest. No one's saying, no, sometimes I hurt. Sometimes I break down and cry, man, because it's just so hard. I got so much pressure on us, right? But no one's saying that. We're just in these echo chambers and everyone's hurting and no one's being honest about it. And it ends up pushing those people over the edge, unfortunately. So yeah, there's definitely a correlation between the I'm fine facade and believing the myths that we've been sold as men, for so many years.
I mean, this happened on our Boundaries and Brother, or maybe my personal channel, because I cross-posted.
Yeah.
They said on the comment, don't listen to this person, listen to Andrew Tate. I was like, so, I typed back. Yeah, it depends. I used to listen to Andrew Tate, but if you can talk to me about being in prison for this so many years and been through the stuff like that, depending on what we face in life, if you want to listen to Andrew Tate and become that alpha male, please do. If you want to be a real person that has a loving family, this and that, then keep on with the channel. Guess what happened? Oh, you were right.
Yes. It's
Because it's like this, right? You've been misguided all these times and you latch on to these people, which is fine if you're in that phase of life. But once you get to another different phase of life, you can catch it early like anything else. At least you have a fighting chance to be able to express yourself. Because at the end of the day, like I said, when you go to your hospital bed or say you might have other money, the materialistic things, all that crap is not going to matter.
Yeah. Gordon, I would even say, honestly, push back a little, I would say it's not fine.
Right.
Because the whole alpha male mentality, get money, sleep with women, work out, live your own life, yada, yada, yada. That's not a fine mentality. Don't feel your emotions. Like, stop being weak. Stop being a punk. That's actually not fine. And you can do a tremendous amount of damage in a very short period of time, right? Because you might think, well, 10 years is not a short period of time, but you can do a tremendous amount of irreparable damage. And so then you spend the rest of your life trying to get back, trying to repair yourself. So you would have to be, I would say this, right? Like you really have to know your self-worth and your value, love yourself before you're really ready to take on and look at an Andrew Tate or some of these other guys out there. Because the thing is, some of them do say some good stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'll be honest, the whole red pill movement, I give, just like I would give credence to and honor to Sigmund Freud for kicking open the door for mental health. The red pill movement,
same thing. Yep.
Door, like we as men have not been prioritized, and there's a problem, right?
Yes.
If you're able to take the meat and leave the bones with some of the things they're saying,
yep,
then that's great. But unfortunately, like we we're saying before, a lot of men aren't in that space.
Correct.
So they're looking to belong. They're looking to understand themselves.
Right.
And unfortunately, when they get in these echo chambers, they're saying it's okay for you to be as you are. It's okay not to process your emotions. It's okay to hold it all in and stuff it down. And so what happens is you get stuck in this echo chamber with bad advice and bad information. You end up listening to it, ends up doing way more damage than good because you're not addressing the core issues that you might have.
I mean, it goes to say, you can go back. We're going back 3 weeks where we did, can self-talk change your life? Escape the echo chamber. That was a thing on October 2025. If you want to go back and see our show about the echo chamber, that's what it's all about. Because like Doc said, you can have the meat and potatoes out of it all. Where I said to this gentleman, right, it's because you're in that phase of life. The sooner you can switch over and understand it, you'll be better off in the long run. I've been there. I've done that. You mean grind, make the $1 million, make a couple million, lose it, do that. In fact, my whole business and base was based on getting women at one point in my life, right? But then it was as you change, because maybe situation changed, you go to prison for half your life and something happens. You have to change, because if not, there's no second chance. There's no third chance. And so That's what I was trying to, because getting into a keyboard warrior with somebody else that I understand your things, it makes, like you said, provides a safe space
Yeah.
for them to reach out more. And that's what I'm trying to create. Now,
Yeah.
what is the third one you had?
That happened like the someday, right?
Someday.
Someday, right? Someday I'll go to therapy.
Someday
Hey,
delusion.
we'll start this business. Someday I'll deal with this. Someday I'll make it right with my wife. Someday I'll be there for my kid. The someday delusion, right? Because the fact of the matter is, someday never comes.
It never arrives.
No day, right?
Yeah,
It never comes.
Yeah.
And it's built off of fear. It's pushing it back, like it's a form of procrastination, right? I'll get to it. Except when there's no deadline, you never get to it. You just keep pushing it off. And so, not being able to face whatever it is we need to face, that's an issue, right? Stuffing down all our emotions, pressing them all down, the feelings that we have towards somebody else, right? I never talk to my brother again because of what he did. I'm not going to talk to my parents. I'm not going to, my wife did this thing to hurt me. I'm not going to bring it up. And then someday we'll deal with it, right? Just not right now. But that day never comes. And unfortunately, we continue to do internal damage on ourselves because we're letting these things sit there and marinate within us and just tear us apart, destroy our relationships, destroy how we interact, make it so we can't trust people or trust the world or trust ourselves. Like it does a lot of damage when you just leave things to someday, right? You miss out on so many opportunities that you can never get back.
Let me ask you this, Doc. Knowing all that, what you just said, making it someday, holding off your goals, your emotions, not putting a deadline, what are some of the things people can do now that can put them in the right direction, but doesn't have to go full blast, just to make the awareness?
Okay. Well, that could actually jump to another one of the emotional signs that you're not all right. And that ties into the lack of personal responsibility.
Okay.
Right? Because a lot of times some days are also tied to, when the government gets better, when my wife changes, when the economy gets better, when I lose this weight, when I make this money, when I deal with this trauma. And so we tie it all in together. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the things that we can change in our life are our responsibility. It's up to us to change that. We got to change ourselves, how we interact, how we respond to other people, the things we do. We have to take responsibility, but a lot of times we don't take responsibility. We blame other people. The marriage is bad because my wife. The job is bad because my boss. I'm in this state because of my parents. I'm in this place because of the system. It's because of my skin color. It's because of my religion. It's because of this, so we don't take responsibility. I'm not there in my child's life because of X, Y, Z. You input it, right? So not only do we put things off, but because we don't take responsibility for it, it sits there and lingers and things never happen. And we live a life that's so unsatisfying. And a lot of times you don't even see it because we're in this delusion, right? And then again, see how these all ties together, because then if you're in an echo chamber, that just reaffirms the delusion and reaffirms the excuses and reaffirms your lack of responsibility. You're not going to make any progress going forward. And so in order to change that, the first thing you got to do is you got to start taking personal responsibility for your life. You may not be responsible for what happened to you, but you're responsible for how you respond to it.
Absolutely.
And that's what you have to really understand.
Personal accountability is some of the stuff that you mentioned with the trauma, self-accountability, the being in the echo chamber, right place, wrong time, blah, 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 the responsibility, and the unsatisfying methods, right? All of it comes down, and this is the hardest thing I tell people, right? The hardest thing that somebody's going to do is actually take personal responsibility for your actions, beliefs, and behaviors and actions. The hardest thing you can do, even when somebody that's gone to prison, they don't want to admit they did a crime. It's the weirdest thing. And I get it, because you want to deflect. You want to push things off. You blame it on the rat. You blame it. If it wasn't for the government, you wouldn't get caught. If it wasn't for this other person, the bottom line, you was doing crime.
Yeah.
You was breaking the rules. But to me, it was a phenomenon and kind of like stuck in a headspace in a sense that I didn't know I was in, because I used to think that way. Yeah. And until you take personal responsibility, accountability to do things for yourself and find out where you went, if you go back and find out where does this thinking come from, that's where you can start the healing process to become satisfied, to become more emotion aware, to have EQ so that you can do the business, close more sales, get the job, get the things. And people used to wonder, how do you just come out of prison and get a job that people want? I said, because you got to take personal responsibility. Because one of the stories that I can tell you, when one of my interviews at the Cosmopolitan, when I just getting, they said, what kind of personal responsibility did you take? And just so happened, I was like, I don't like incompetent people. What did you do about it? I took anger management so I don't explode at people.
Yeah.
I said, at least you're telling the truth. And that remark, taking personal responsibility and what I did about it, got me hired where they wasn't supposed to hire ex-felons.
Okay.
Right? Because
Yeah.
of that situation and me taking personal responsibility and what I did about it. Because you got to think, I had what do you call that? NCIS report of 12 pages.
Wow.
You go, oh my God, Gordon, what have you done with it? I said, I believe in second chance, and they shredded it all.
Wow.
We give you a chance. Don't make me look like a fool. And I took off from there.
Wow.
And it all comes down to personal responsibility and not deflecting. Because when you're doing an interview and you don't have that in your head, most people say, "Oh, what is your what do you call that? When your imperfection? Yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm perfect for the job. I'm a team player. I'm all this good stuff." That's not what they're looking for. They want to know what kind of different things that goes into that. Doc, so what is the other one that you wanted to talk about?
The last one is, justifying bad habits.
Oh, that perfect scenario for what you're going into right now.
Justifying bad habits, right? Because a lot of times what we'll do is we'll say, well, you don't understand because you're not a man. Men are logical, women are emotional. No. And for anyone who's like, well, this is just the myths, repackaged. Not necessarily, right? Because it's that we know the habits are bad. You know you should be helping out when you come home. You should be, you're not yelling and screaming or drinking or doing all these things. Like, there's things that you should not be doing and things you should be doing. But instead of saying, you know what, hey, I can do better. You know what? Yeah, I can do better at listening. Yeah, I can do better at speaking. Yeah, I can do better at helping around the house. Yeah, I can do better about expressing my thoughts and feelings. Instead, we justify the bad habits as if this is just how it is. Like how, yeah, all men are this way. It's just built into our DNA. And it's not. Right. And unfortunately, we will create hills and die on those hills based off these habits. And again, when we're in those echo chambers, then it's like, yeah, man, you're right. She's crazy. And it's like, you lost a great woman because you were in the echo chamber.
Of
You
yourself.
lost a great opportunity
Yep.
because you want to justify a bad habit. And so, you lost your children because you want to justify a bad habit. Well, kids need to just listen to me when I talk. And if they don't listen to me, they're going to get the back of my hand, right? Now your kids can't stand you. They want no relationship with you. And you're going to die on that hill. Well, it's just being a man. We got to stop justifying bad habits. We got to stop doing that, right? And then on top of that, I also share this as well, because these emotional things, right? So a lot of these are behaviors, but there's emotional aspects behind it as well. Right. We think we're doing the right thing. We think that, it's going to, draw people closer to us and things like that. But when we're doing all these things, we're empty on the inside. We're saying I'm fine. We're empty on the inside. We still feel alone. We still feel unloved. We still feel like nobody cares. We still feel unappreciated. So we perpetuate all of these things, all these signals, and it's not helping us get to where we want to go. None of these things helps us get to where we want to go. There's no man that says I'm successful because I waited. There's no man that says I'm successful because he said I'm fine. There's no man that's successful because he didn't take personal responsibility or believe the myths that are perpetuated through men or justify bad habits. There's no man that's successful in any way, shape, or form that doesn't recognize these emotional traps and does something about them. We got to do something about them. Otherwise, we stay trapped in our own emotional prison. And unfortunately, if we don't do something before it's too late, we end up locking ourselves in for eternity.
I mean, that's it, because you would understand if some of the men that you come across, some of the men I come across, some of the clients that we help, and how we're going to help a lot more, they might feel like, they're suffering in silence. They may be carrying the stress of the career, the family, the monetary, the emotional turmoil that they go through every single day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They also need somebody to understand them. And that's where we come in, where you can have an emotional liberation of being authentic with yourself, breaking the chains of silence, reclaiming your full self in a way that God was meant for you to be. Because, like you say, we all go astray. But
Yeah.
as you can see from our channel, we talked about dadpreneurs, emotion. You see me with Carrie, you see me with some other people. This channel is bringing a lot of value, and YouTube is rewarding us for it right now. You want to build unshakable self-worth. You want to have emotional command of your things. This is the channel for you. And if you have any questions, please go to findout.boundariesandbrotherhood.com to take your assessment. Guys, it's a free assessment made by Doc to see where we can get in to kind of like build a game plan so that you might be going somewhere where you can fulfill your destiny with your kids, your family, not have all these 7 signs of the thing that we do. What was the 7 sign? The 7 signs that you're building an emotional prison for yourself. This is what our channel is about, guys. This is about reaching out, letting you be you, but just guiding you and encouraging you, giving you the tools for you to be able to deal with what life comes at you. Because it's going to come with you.
Yeah.
It's going to come at you too.
Yes, it is.
What kind of pain points do you see men or clients in the field right now? And what are you doing to help them?
Well, what do you mean?
You might see some clients, you might see some people that they're at that precipice of blowing up.
Yeah.
They might be stressed out at work, they lost their job, losing the house, like you said. What do you really tell them? What kind of advice or what kind of clinical?
Honestly, I would say anyone who's already at that point is coming to me. The solution, their solution's already there, right? They've come to a person that can help them. They've come to a person that's willing to listen, to understand, not respond, that really gives them the space to share what they're thinking and feeling and release that pressure. So I would say anybody who has not found a professional, doesn't have someone like that to do that with, find someone to do that with, right?
You need docs.
I would say anyone who's on that precipice, seek help. Go find help. Don't be ashamed to say, hey, I need to go see a therapist. And honestly, if you want to just go there and vent, you can do that. You can let your therapist know, okay, listen, I'm coming here. I need a safe place to just get all my thoughts and feelings and let them know that, because sometimes that's all you need. I find that a lot of times, a lot of my clients, that's just what they need. They need a place to get out their thoughts and feelings safely. Someone that's going to validate them and empathize with them. That doesn't mean they're going to co-sign on bad behavior, right? But once someone is heard, validated, and understood, it makes it tremendously easier for them to receive any kind of corrective feedback, right? Find someone who you feel safe opening up and talking to and sharing things with. And as you do that, then yeah, you won't be on that precipice anymore. You'll be getting things out. You get that pressure out. And then eventually that could lead to further healing, a deeper healing for other issues that you may not know are issues at this point because you buried them for so long.
Right, that's kind of deep. This is what, in 2026, this is what me and Doc collaborated, partnered with, and everything else to get you the help you need. This is why take that assessment, go on that page, figure out what you can do, and see how we can make a specialized plan, a coaching plan, for at least free. Do it in the beginning so that you can get the help you really need. The act of goodwill that we're going to present for you in the next coming months is going to literally change your life, because if you're emotionally sound, if you can command the respect, if you're looking for the things that you want, and you want the emotional awareness to exceed when everything else gets put in place, you're going to have a good family life. You're going to build relationships. You're going to have boundaries for yourself. You're going to have certain things that you never had before. It's going to be a new feeling. You want that. Trust me, you want that. Self-accountability is a big thing for me, because until I figured that out, I would still be going on this dark path. I would still be doing the same old crap with the same old people.
Yeah.
And even Chat GPT, all these AIs, when I start comparing it, nobody else is doing this, guys. Because where do you have an ex-felon and a professional therapist team up to help men with their families? It's usually one or, not both. You get 2 for the price of 1, basically.
Yeah.
Do you have any more suppression, emotional? What about the deflecting thing?
As far as deflecting, the same as that, I'm fine. Yeah, because I was thinking about that, and I was also thinking about, I know we were talking about the ignoring advice of those who care.
Please talk about that one.
I was thinking about that. However, there's nuances there, right? because it says the advice of those who care. However, a lot of us as men, if no one's listening to us, if no one's trying to understand us, if there's no validation or empathy, and you're just throwing advice at us, then we're not looking at you as you care. We know logically you care. Okay, you're my mother, you care. You're my father, you care. Your brother, you logically, because of the nature of the relationship. My wife, you care. But that head knowledge concept is not enough. Again,
Okay.
like I was saying before, if you're not listening, if you're not trying to empathize, if you're not validating, you'll never get to the point where your advice is going to matter anyways.
True.
Because it's just like, oh, well, stop, just do this, you'll be fine. It's like, bro, you didn't even, like, you hear what I said? Like, I feel like I don't want to be here anymore. Nah, man, you're good, man. Everyone loves you. Everyone cares about you. You're going to be all right, man. Just keep pushing forward. So is it we're ignoring the advice? Or is it that you haven't even taken the time to see where I'm at and see who I am and see what I'm thinking and feeling to even know if that's even the advice that's necessary? Right? So it might just be, maybe you just listen and be like, I just need someone to talk to. But again, being that safe person to share, being able to share things with, and then when you start dropping it, because then it's like, hey, man, what do you think, man? Well, hey, I get it. I used to go through something similar, man. This is what worked for me. Maybe you could try that. You're going to have a lot more success with offering advice or strategies or tips or whatever when someone knows you actually care. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It works not just with men. It works with really anybody.
Anybody.
Right.
Wife, relationships.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's I wouldn't say that's an emotional trap, but I think it's something on the other side of those who really want to help. If you're wondering why people always ignore your advice, maybe ask yourself the question, am I actually listening to them? Or am I just trying to throw something at them? Then it's not going to land. And then you get mad because they didn't take it. But what you should be more concerned with is, did I actually listen? Because did I even give the right advice? Do they even want advice? That's another thing. Do they even want advice? A lot of times people don't necessarily want advice. They just want someone to know. They just want to know that someone cares. And so I wouldn't say it's so much a trap, but I would say it's definitely something for those on the outside who's talking to a man. That's something you want to really hone in on.
I mean, you hit the nail, because most people just want to know if you care.
Yeah.
If you are listening. This is why this channel was created. We want to take the governor off of your situation to reach your full potential.
Yeah.
Some of you haven't even reached your potential. Some of you don't even know you got potential. But what if we could give you all of that? What if we could give you the direction, the tools, the encouragement, the active listening to prepare you to a place that you never thought possible? What would that be worth to you? Knowing that your relationship could elevate, knowing that you could have unshakable confidence, knowing that you could have an emotional superpower to command the stage, or some of your coworkers knowing that you had boundaries and they're going to respect you for that. What would that be worth? Could it put you in another phase of life that you never thought possible? This is what we want to do for you. Come 2026, you should be ready for workshops. You're going to be ready for free PDFs. If you take the assessment at findout.boundariesandbrotherhood.com, it takes the assessment, it'll automate it, and we have some free PDFs and e-signs for you that you might just want to take. At the bottom of this, you're going to have social media accounts, our Reddit account, our school community. You're going to have courses in there. This has been a pleasure, basically working throughout the year to get to this point with Doc. And I give you respects for that, because what comes next is going to be change you. Because we're just here to guide you. You do the work. Doc, give us a recap and end the show, please.
All right, guys, the 5 emotional traps that we get into. Just run it all down. The I'm fine facade, justifying bad habits, the someday trap, believing the myths about masculinity, and lack of personal responsibility. Those are the 5 emotional traps that cause us to build up and eventually explode for one reason or the other. But ultimately, it's because we're holding all our emotions down. And for those of you who really want to help, we talked about that at the end, as far as instead of just, getting mad that they're not taking your advice, why don't you stop and listen to them first? Hear them out. And if you really want to help men, then you look and see what's going on. Don't just stay on the surface. See what's going on, right? And then ask deeper questions. If they don't look fine, then let them know, hey, you don't look fine. You look like you're carrying a big load. You look like you're struggling. You look like you're having a hard time. You look like you're not sleeping. You look disturbed. Are you all right? Don't let it just be this. Don't let it just be a pleasantry. Because a
Oh,
lot of times,
that's a good one.
unfortunately, you really don't care how they're doing.
Yeah.
Really take it serious. Like, how are you doing? And then look and see, hey, because fine looks like, yeah, no, I'm good. The behaviors won't change. The energy won't change. When you see that shift, when you see them by themselves or alone all the time, notice that there's an issue or a problem. Be that person, that safe space to be there. And to be a safe space, it means you're non-judgmental. It means you're not trying to shove information down their throat. You're not trying to feed them, these false narrative of what it is to be a man. You're there, you care, you empathize, you validate, and you just be there like, hey, bro, I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to walk this thing out with you.
Nice.
Hey, maybe you need to see a professional, man.
Yeah.
But, don't carry this by yourself. You don't have to carry this by yourself. So
Beautiful.
I'll say that. That's the recap.
Beautiful.
You don't have to stay trapped. You do not
beautiful.
have to stay trapped.
I mean, I just like with Anna, guys, if you're feeling trapped and these 5 sneaky signs are creeping up to you, please reach out. Scan that code behind Doc. Guys, it's Gordon Wat from Boundaries and Brotherhood. Hit the list on the playlist. Share with somebody that might need to hear this kind of stuff. We'll see you. Doc, hit him.
Guys, take care. Have a great and blessed day. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll get with you.
All right. Aloha.
Like what you heard? Please leave us a comment for us to highlight on the next show, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Want some free stuff that can help you overcome everything? Get on our list by going to findout.boundariesandbrotherhood.com.